We are live. All right. Listen, we want everybody to log in, like, tag, and share. We are on 95.3. Hallelujah. It's the Great James Community Show. And we're excited about being here today. So let's get everybody tuned in. Let's like, tag, and share. We got an exciting show for you today. It's going to be life-changing. That's right. We're talking about investing and banking. We're talking about what's the difference. And we've got exciting guests that are joining us right here on Hallelujah 95.3. So let's get everybody tuned in. Hallelujah. Let's get Dante back on. Let's get Dante back on the screen. There he is. All right. It's a wonderful Wednesday right here on the Great James Community Show. And I want to say good afternoon to all of those who are tuned in, whether you're in your office, in your car, whether you're walking, driving, listening to us by YouTube, Facebook, however you're tuned in. We are excited about today's show. I want you to do three things for me. I want you to like, I want you to tag, I want you to share. You got to get everybody into this conversation. Listen, if you're tuned in on Facebook, YouTube, I need you to go ahead on and tag all of your friends. Why? Because this information that we're about to share with you is definitely life-changing. Joining me on the stage in the studio is none other than Dr. Natalie Walker, Reverend Dr. Millionaire, author of a book entitled Wealth Empowerment. Good afternoon, and how are you?
I am doing phenomenal. It is my pleasure to be here with you.
Well, listen, I'm excited about having you. I'm excited about having you to join us in this conversation because you are traveling the nation talking about health and wealth. And why is that so important? Just tell us a little bit about why it's important, and we're going to get ready to introduce the rest of our guests.
I think COVID has shifted the mindsets of so many people regarding their health and their wealth. We were hit with a major pandemic, and it helped a lot of people to really see that they were not adequately prepared for emergencies. With their health and with their wealth. So I think now more people are in tune to the fact that they need to be better prepared for financial emergencies, health emergencies, and people have shifted from being reactive in their health to being more proactive. So I think now is the time for us to start having these real conversations.
Wow. Well, now is the time. Joining me also is a good friend of mine. He's a retired dean of pharmacy. He's a pastor here in our area, and he's a financial coach, none other than Dr. Pastor Marvin Scott. How are you, sir?
Doing great. Glad to be here.
How important is this conversation today?
I mean, it's everything, outside of, for me being a pastor, outside of your relationship with God, this is the key to getting your house in order. One of the keys to getting your house in order.
Wow. Well, listen, I'm glad to have both of you in the studio with me today. And from the great city of Texas and the great city of Tulsa, Oklahoma, two amazing young men who I'm excited to be a part of a company that they are some of the lead voices and some of the lead developers in. That's Aboria Prime. And joining me from Texas is a software developer. He's the bishop. I want to say he's the bishop of how to make it happen in the world of technology when it comes to trading and auto trading, none other than Nathan Williams. How are you, sir?
Doing pretty well, sir. How about yourself?
Man, I'm excited. I'm glad to have you joining us. And we're going to talk about what you have been able to do as far as transforming how investing versus banking goes when it comes to you being your own bank, being able to hold and being able to manage and maximize your own money. And how important is that, Doc?
Oh, it's everything. The one thing I tell people all the time, when you invest and you've taken the time to educate yourself and put yourself in the right position with the right team, the right technology, you have more control. The banks, they're there for themselves. They're going to give you a slice of the pie, and I can't even really call it a slice. I call it, a sliver. And they're not going to share it all with you. They're using your money every day to make money for themselves, enrich themselves, and why shouldn't you be able to do the same? So people just need to take the time to learn how to invest and invest in themselves first, so that they can invest their finances and actually be able to take more of that pie, so they can set themselves up and their families up, for the future.
Great. But listen, I'm excited about the conversation. Also joining us from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hey, man, he's a 27-year-old. He's a six-figure earner. I'm just excited to be a part of working with him, the heart that he has. Mr. Dante Lewis, how are you, sir?
I'm absolutely fantastic. Just want to say thank you, and I appreciate the opportunity to be able to share our and connect on a platform like this. Shout out to those and the other amazing people. I'm just really excited to have this conversation around money today.
Okay, look, I got a little echo coming from you. I want you to run that back down again because I want everybody to be clear. I want everybody to hear this conversation because I just believe, as Dr. Natalie said, this is the time for the world to be awakening when it comes to how to manage and how to maximize your own money.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Well, also, like I said, I'm excited for the opportunity to share our community. I'm excited about the event that we're having in Tallahassee next week, and just to spread this message of how important health and wellness are on a multitude of varieties. I'm really looking forward to the conversation and working with us.
Absolutely. Well, listen, I want to say, let's get started on this conversation because this conversation is so valuable and so needed to our community. And one of the things that I know that when we look at where we are in the world today, when we look at our economy, when we look at one of the things that I feel like is major, the Bible talks about money entering all things. Managing your money and maximizing your money is so important. So, Doctor, let's talk about something, and I want everybody to be in. Let's talk about something that is vital to the body of Christ, and that's being able to understand the power of wealth. I think we will.
And I would say this too. We missed it on different levels, but one of the things I was thinking about is how when we were growing up, we were never told to invest. We were always told to save. And so if I always save my money in the bank, like they said, I'm only going to get a sliver. If that, I mean, they give you less than 1% annual interest on your money. So you never really gain any wealth. I want to give you this, and I'll be quiet here. So I was looking at there's two ladies who did something powerful, right? One lady, Oswald McCarthy. When she was 80-something years old, she was planning for her death. She wasn't sick, but she was planning for her death. And so she donated $150,000 to Southern Mississippi, University of Southern Mississippi, for black students to go to school. Now she did that by saving money because she worked at a dry cleaning. And she just saved money. So at that time, she accumulated, just by saving, $185 million. The flip side of that was a lady who worked for Walt Disney as a housekeeper. Didn't make a lot of money as a housekeeper, but what he did as a bonus for her was every year he gave her stock in Walt Disney. At her death, she had over 195 million shares of Walt Disney, which equated to almost $9 million. That's the difference between saving and investing.
Wow. The return is so great on investing. Well, with that, I want to come to you, Nate, because you have, first of all, tell us a little bit about your background before we get into the power of investing when it comes to what you have been able to do.
Yeah, sure. I have a degree in mathematics and computer science. I never thought I'd use the degree, at least computer science, ever. But a few years back, designed software to help make the trading experience easier and more enjoyable, for the beginning trader. I've been trading for about 15 years now. Actually, it'll be 15 years this summer, July. And I've been trading everything from stocks to crypto to exchange traded funds, cryptocurrency, precious metals, indexes, foreign exchange currency, you name it. I've traded just about everything that's out there except for bonds. They seem boring, so I've never touched those. But that's kind of my background. I've been in the education field all through school, tutoring as well as being a teacher's aide, things of that nature. So I've always, and being a teacher in aspects or areas such as math and computer science, I've had to learn how to simplify complex topics. And so that's what I'm trying to bring to the trading world, is creating software tools as well as adding education to it, so that I can simplify the process for the everyday individual that does not have the time or does not have the desire to put in the time that I put in to learn how to invest properly. Try to make it easy for them so that they can still have some success. Because again, as much time as you put in dictates the level of success. But if I can allow for someone to have even just a sliver or a moderate level of success higher than what the banks are going to allow them, it's a win-win altogether.
Wow. Well, one of the things that I know that is so important is that once you begin to understand the power of being able to invest and the power of being able to maximize money, then we're going to see our whole culture shift. Dr. Matt, you wrote a book called Wealth and Empowerment. Why was that so important?
Because everything that we start with our mindset. And we look at particularly the African American community, we have struggled to value wealth building as a whole. We were always taught to wear our wealth. We're always taught to look at people, look at what they drive, look at what they wear, look at what type of jewelry that they have on. And that for us will help us to identify their wealth. When in actuality, wearing your wealth is not necessarily equate to having wealth. So we will therefore go put all of our money into depreciating things, clothes, shoes, purses, hair, nails. And so the mindset and the values of our people have to shift first, because we will do whatever we value. This is why you have people leasing expensive cars, renting nice houses, spending extravagantly on bags and shoes, and wearing ornaments. But most of it for us is very psychological, because as a people, we have been taught that we are less than. African American women have been taught that we are unworthy. So for a lot of us, we are trying to prove our worthiness and prove our achievements through how we look. So everything is psychological, which is why a lot of times we're unable to say, because when we get money, we want to spend it, we want to show people what we have. So a lot of it's psychological. So we have to start with our values, and we have to program and put it in our mindset.
Wow. One of the things, Dante, I want you to come in, because just hearing what Dr. Nelson said is that we are so busy trying to showcase our money. And you all are going throughout the nation, trying to help empower and educate our community on how important it is to be able not to showcase, but to be able to have money that will help secure your future. Let's talk about what you all are doing and why this is so important.
Well, absolutely. And I just wanted to say that was an incredible piece by you, Dr. Evans. And I got a lot of value out of this. Hearing repeatedly the things that we know to be true, that we're taught, and that a poverty mindset is instilled inside of our community, and it takes leadership like just the five of us on this panel right here having a conversation to be able to fix and change things. So for me personally, I got exposed to some of these concepts and ideologies about generational wealth and trading and investment in 2016. And for me, I started a community called Impact, which stands for I Make Profit a Common Thing. And with that, we've been able to partner with different companies and different vehicles that are directed into finding products that are making money in the market, or compounding money, or different wealth vehicles easier for the average person, which is why somebody like Nathan, who's a brilliant developer, works perfectly inside of our platform, these great products on the table, and now we're bringing the community to the table with leadership, so we can spread the message across the nationwide about how important it is to get on top of compounding your money, and getting your money out of the bank and becoming your own bank.
Wow. Listen, we're having some echoing, but we're going to figure this out, because what we're saying is so important and it's so valuable to those who listen to the broadcast. So we're going to try to make sure that we get this echoing out, because I need for those who are listening to be able to hear and to be able to grasp and to be able to know the value of what we're saying. So Nick, I'm going to come to you because now you have developed software. I'm excited about. You're going to be joining us in Tallahassee on March 30th. You ain't done it. March 30th and March 31st, along with Dr. Napoli, along with Pastor Scott, and so many others for what we're calling the next level wealth empowerment. Let's talk about what you have been able to develop, and not only what you've been able to develop, but through your beta testing, the kind of results you're seeing, and why this product is life-changing for those of us who are in the process of no doubt being able to receive many checks in the mail. And like Dr. said, if they don't manage it well, they're going to put it on their back and they're going to put it in cars, and they're not going to see the return that they're paying. Talk about that.
Yeah, sure. So I've designed what I call the ecosystem of trading. And what I mean by the ecosystem of trading is I have a total of 3 current tools at the moment, with more to come. But think about Apple, the company, the corporation Apple. They have an ecosystem. If you have, I have an iPhone. So I have an iPhone. The computer that I'm actually speaking on right now is a MacBook. I have an Apple Watch. I have an iPad. I have an iMac. I have their entire ecosystem because everything works together. I have a better experience. I have higher, performance because I can now literally start something on my phone, a document, transfer it to my laptop while I'm on the go, make the changes I need to, get it to my desktop, add the necessary components that I can only do on the desktop that I can't do on my phone, and be able to have a finished product, all because I have an ecosystem that works together. That's what I have designed with the products that I have that are all versatile. They can all be used individually, just like Apple's individual products. But then when you use them together, they perform at a higher rate so that you actually have the possibility and capability to actually improve on your actual day-to-day results, week-to-week results, how often it is you're in the market. As far as the beta test goes and some of the actual results, it's kind of a loaded question. Today, we actually had the automated version, which launches here toward the end of the month. The automated version of one of my softwares has actually passed a proprietary funds challenge. So what that means is you can actually receive a funded account. So other people's money, you pay a small fee for that size account. All right, you have to go through a series of challenges. They're very strict on multiple areas. Most people are still just trying to learn how to actually place a trade before, or how to actually have a strategy, utilize a strategy, let alone all the other restrictions that come with an actual proprietary funds challenge to receive a funded account. But the actual automated software has all the features built in to take care of that for you. And today it passed a challenge where it has received its own proprietary fund on its own. It literally placed on the chart, you turn it on, it did all the work for the investor who actually is beta testing it. Shout out to that individual, Corey. He actually created the actual settings for it. And he's done a great job, in being inspirational with the actual software and taking it to that next level. So you can do what you want to do with it. The ecosystem is there to help you out as well, no matter what platform you want to trade on. I've explained earlier that I've traded everything under the sun except for bonds. Well, if you want to trade futures, the software works on futures. We have individuals trading futures. If you want to use the software to trade, equities, your stocks, your ETFs, even stock options, there are individuals already utilizing the software and making a living, full-time living, trading, stock and stock options and equities. You have individuals trading, indexes, currency pairs, precious metals. Doesn't really matter what you want to trade. Everything can be traded if it has a financial chart with the tools, because the tools are created around the sound fundamental principles of how the market actually fluctuates on a day-to-day basis.
Wow. Well, I tell you, that is exciting. And when you hear something like that, being that, you are a trader, you've been trading now. In fact, you are using some software that Nate has developed. When you hear about the automated table, I mean, what does that say to the world, to the industry, to those who are listening?
Well, one of the things you know and understand what it does is it takes people who never traded before and it shortens the learning curve. It shortens the curve so that now you don't it doesn't take you as long to enter and become profitable. You know, I still recommend you to learn how to trade if you want to understand what's going on. But what it does is, for me, as a person who knows how to trade and traded before, I like using the arrow. I like bounce arrow, go and use the strategy there. And now with adding layer like green light to that, I mean, you know, it just makes everything easy. And what it does also for me, as one who teaches others how to trade, I like for them to do, because now, instead of me having to go through and teach them support resistance in the beginning, the software does it for them. So because the software does it, put the support resistance in for them, and now we're like green light telling you which way you should go, so forth and so on. It just kind of shows the learning curve. So I actually suggest you to, you know, in order to become profitable, it takes about a year and a half, 2 years to really become a profitable player, where you're really able to make money. What would you be willing to do if I said I can make me profitable within a month?
Wow. And that's using the software.
And that's using the software.
Well, listen, I'll tell you what, Dr. Natalie, you have worked on Wall Street, you have turned your life around, you went from 0 to million, and your level of excitement when it comes to learning or even knowing about a software that can help the masses, what does that say?
I think it's very important for people to identify ways that they can make money with their own money. Our economy is shifting. We are seeing contraction in high income jobs. We are seeing an increase in the cost of living. We are seeing a shift in employers not offering pensions. We have to become our own economy, and we have to become our own retirement. And we have to become our own.
Wait, I got to stop there. We have to become our own economy. We have to become our own retirement, and we have to fund our own economy. Dante Lewis, I know you're waiting to dive in on that.
There's a lot that we have to deal with financially, and as African Americans, as minorities, we're also at a disadvantage because we have issues as it relates to our national wage. African American women and men make less national than other races. So you couple that with some of the psychological issues that we face. We're at severe disadvantage. So the more that our people see us shifting, the more it will help to collectively change our value system as a people.
Wow. You know, you use the word that I feel like is so important. We're at such a great disadvantage. We're talking today about investment versus banking. Joining me in this conversation is none other than Nathan Williams, developer of a software that's getting ready to be released to the market, to the world, that's going to help you get from being in a disadvantaged position to an advantaged position. Now listen to what I'm about to say to those of you who listen to the podcast. You know what it means to have money in the bank. You feel that it's secure. Dante, I want you to come in. I want you to talk about the fact that having money in the bank for 5 years as opposed to compounding money using this new software that is about to hit the market to help get us from that disadvantaged position and put us in a position of advantage.
So I know I've been dealing with a little echo, so I'm going to talk slow. I hope y'all can hear me because I believe this is so important. For one, Black people, we have $1 trillion like buying power every single year. So for the record, Black Americans spending over $1 trillion every single year would be a top 10 country in the entire world. Meaning that Black Americans alone, all our money combined, would be a top 10 country on this planet right here. So I totally agree that with this better decision making with the money that we have, we will be in such a better and more powerful position. We have to remember that we're talking about closing the wealth gap. it took 400 years for the wealth gap to be built. So we're not going to be able to close the wealth gap using the traditional measures that help build it, meaning that just investing into the stock market or just buying some property is not going to be enough to close 400 years of that. So when we talk about ways of making 3, 4, 5, 10% in a month by leveraging software and technology, those kind of things compounded over time are really going to put us in a position to catch up and then exceed and go beyond. The average stock market return per year is about 10% per year. With Nate's software, I've seen people doing 10% a month easily. So we're taking the same goal of investing money and compounding time frame for something that would take usually 50 years, now only takes 5 years. I believe that it's powerful. I believe that we all need to get our money compounding as much as possible ASAP, and really seeing the numbers of what that looks like over time. Compounding the money at 5 to 10% a month is very scary, very amazing, and I think that more people know what those numbers look like. But more importantly, we plug into opportunities that can give them the ability to actually receive those kind of returns without them having to go to hard work.
Great. Wow. You know, listen, I want to say, the city of California, we are planning for the next level wealth management summit. Listen, I want you to put in the thread you are interested in attending. Those of you who are listening to us on Facebook, you can just go ahead and drop it in the thread. I'm interested in attending. Those of you who are in your vehicle, wherever you may be, I want you to go to Eventbrite, look for next level wealth management summit. I want you to register. These 2 young men are going to be in our city. They're going to be sharing this valuable information. Nathan Williams is going to be talking about the software that is really, listen to me. I'm letting you in on a major secret. It has not even begun to sweep the nation like it is going to. So you want to make plans to join us on March the 30th and the 31st. Now here's the caveat to what's going to happen. For those of you who have struggled with trading, those of you who do not understand the power of investing, Pastor Scott gave us a wonderful real life story about his name and about the young lady who worked at the end of the year. We saw what happened. I want to say to you today is your day to say, Greg James, I'm interested in being there. Put it there, because we're going to be talking about the 10 commandments of wealth management. 10 commandments in the Bible, the 10 commandments of wealth management. Give me 2 of those commandments.
Discipline. The good word is discipline. And a lot of people think that they are going to have money coming to their hands and God's going to multiply it. God gives us wisdom and the wherewithal, but he also gives us free will. So in order for us to multiply our money, we have to have discipline. Delayed gratification. We have to get into a position where we're able to see things that we want and purchase them with the right timing. People see things and they want it immediately, and credit has fooled people into thinking and feeling as though they have more money and buying power than they do. But the Bible speaks heavily against debt. But in the United States, we have allowed debt to be so easily acquired that people are over leveraging themselves, and it's creating a higher level of stress, anxiety, depression, financial uncertainty. So when you talk about the 10 commandments of wealth building, when you talk about biblically sound financial principles, discipline and delayed gratification are 2 of the key areas where people have the least knowledge and where we see people falling short the most. They're not disciplined in their spending, and we want everything yesterday.
Wow. Listen, that is, I mean,
That's so true.
Dante, Nate, Pastor, I mean, 10 commandments for wealth management. Nate, what do we say when we take the 10 commandments, we take the software, and we begin to learn the skill set? What happens to our life?
Changes for the positive. The commandments are there for a reason. They can be applied in more aspects of our life than just the financial world. But in the financial world, it's definitely one that really sticks out is greed. Fighting greed. That can actually lead you to break other commandments, such as delayed gratification. Because if I get greedy and try to make more money here, I can go and then buy that item that I should be purchasing a month from now instead of today. So having again, it's not always about the, how do I say it? It comes into what we're programmed to see in the world. So if one can, see everyone on TV or on social media living a life, as it was stated earlier, and wearing this and wearing that, people tend to think that's what the financial world is, no matter what area you're in. If you're in real estate, if you're in, trading, if you're in, sales, whatever the case may be, and they tend to lose track of these 10 commandments. So ensuring that people are understanding how to put 2 and 2 together, it will allow them to eventually get to the point where they can live that lifestyle. But you have to start somewhere, and you have to keep those 10 commandments in mind at all times.
Wow. Dante,
No sound.
Yeah, we got no sound.
wow, we can't hear him. I tell you. Listen, I tell you, one of the things that I know.
Have to be willing to shift so that they can get to that next level, because it's not going to come easy.
Right.
Wow. I'm understanding that we're having a lot of difficulties being heard. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to get this same panel, and we're going to do a night. We're going to invite thousands upon you to join us at night. I want to get this same panel for a night Zoom. We're not going to be defeated. We're going to make sure that this information gets to you, but we're going to keep our time going. Dante, can you hear us now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Let's talk about your experience, what this has done for your life. I mean, and for those of you who don't know, we're on a faith radio station, and everybody on this phone is a believer. The gentleman who has developed the software, his father's a pastor, Dante Lou, he's a believer. Dante, Lewis, a believer, and all of us. So what we're bringing to the kingdom, I feel like for such a time as this, is the shift that we all been looking for. We've been hearing about it, but now it's here. Dante, I want to hear from you.
No problem. So y'all can hear me good? Let's do it.
Yes, sir.
So for one, since we're talking about kingdom principles, for me, when I first got exposed to trading, when I first got exposed to just the markets in general, it was by a believer and a woman who was just doing amazing things. And she started to show me Ecclesiastes 11:6, where it talks about how you want to put your money in different places. It actually says 7 to 8 different places because we'll never know what disaster may come upon the land. So a lot of times when things happen, COVID and this and that, and it just like decimates an entire community, especially our community, because we're obviously so underserved in multiple different areas. But it affects our community way more than it should because we're not applying the principles that are clearly written out for us right there. Like plain as day, put your money in 7 or 8 different places because you can't determine what disaster is going to come upon the land. So when I think about what is it that we have here that Nathan has created and just all the other opportunities that are going on in the world right now, it is an opportunity for you to be a disciple and to be disciplined. And this should be one of your 7. So most people don't have 7 going strong for them right now. And your intention should be, okay, you know what? I need to spread my wings slightly more. It starts with just one. God gave the guy, 5 talents. The other guy was 3 talents and the other guy was 1 talent. And the 2 gentlemen, they doubled their talents. The other guy he dug a hole. He was trying to save it. And God was disgusted with the guy who was trying to save it because at the end of the day, no matter where it is that you're starting from, there's an expectation for you to do something with whatever God put into your hands. And for me, I didn't have anything in 2017. I was coming fresh out of a jail cell and I didn't know exactly what I was going to dip my hands into. But when I got exposed to a resource and I understood that there was word behind it and that there was kingdom principles behind this, I just needed to actually learn and participate and go fail forward. It changed my entire perspective. And me getting into trading, what I learned was that most people don't have the time to invest to actually learn how to master the skill. I remember Brother Marvin on the left was just saying how it's like 18 months to 2 years to become consistently profitable in the market. And he's 100,000% right. It took me about 18 months to become consistently good. And what happened for me is that so many people in my life saw the changes that happened to my life when I got involved in trading and truly realized you got to understand what the point is. I don't have no deep love for trading. I'm from Philadelphia. I grew up in a very urban environment. Nobody was talking about markets and investing and compound. I didn't grow up in or around that in any way, shape, or form. Trading and networking for me is an opportunity for me to create time freedom for myself so that way I can go and do the things that I know God has called me to do. But I can't do those things if I'm always worried about how I'm going to eat. So I need to figure out how am I going to put myself in a position to where I'm not even worried about how we're going to eat. And I can worry about the things that are truly on the heart of God and truly that I've been called to be able to go and do. And that is the example that I want to set for the people that follow after me. I got involved in trading not like 5 years ago. That's not even a lot of time. Most people will spend 5 years to go to school, to leave with a bunch of debt, to then go change careers 5-6 times in a chase to be able to pay off debt for something that you were never really happy about in the first place. So in this space, you have the ability to create something for yourself that nobody can take away from you. That's what I love about this too, is that in our community, there are systems that are put into place to keep Black people from going and excelling to the next level. What are some of those systems? One, if you do the research on the SAT, on the ACT, on redlining, on mass incarceration, these are all things that were put into place to prevent us from being able to take things to the next level. And now, because of the financial markets, they don't care what color you are. They don't care what schools you went to. You can put your money in a financial market from regardless of what a drug test looks like for you, regardless of what your history when it comes to the police or whatever. None of those things matter when it comes to what's going on in the financial market. So I talk to guys in the street all the time. That's like, listen, that what you're doing has an expiration date. It ends with you in a cell or a box, period. There's no other 2 alternatives. Those are the alternatives. And there's no excuse for you to be able to not leverage what is it that you have right now, which is a network, which is some kind of income, to be able to put yourself in a better position for you and your family going down the line. Most guys on the street don't even have enough money to pay for a funeral, nor to be able to pay for any lawyer fees. So it's like it gives an opportunity to remove the excuses. That's why I like it. So now when I talk to people, there is no excuse about why you're not even at least making some sort of an attempt to do more and do better. I've changed the entire trajectory of my family, of the Lewis last name, in the last 5 years. And if I can do that coming from where it is that I come from, when my dad did over 10 years in prison, when my brother just died a few months ago, where every man in my entire family has spent some point in time incarcerated, I don't accept excuses from anybody. It's really just, I got my hand out. I'm willing to hold your hand and walk you through this process if you're willing to start walking on your own as well. And that's kind of my narrative when it comes to this entire space, but specifically to the believers in the Black community. We got to wake up and we got to go start taking ground.
Wow. 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 That is amazing. And when you hear the words, you hear the heart. And one of the things that you can say, Pastor, when after hearing Dante Lewis, who is he's a soldier when it comes to this education, when it comes to making sure people understand that investing versus banking is a great difference. There's a way that you can manage your own money. You are dean at the school, assistant dean at the school, pharmacist. Got introduced to the world of trading a couple of years ago. 2019 we sat around, we talked, shared the idea about you with the degrees and everything. It was a little bit foreign.
Yeah, I mean, at first, because again, I was the mindset of save. And I talked about my financial, kind of history from the standpoint when I first graduated from college, I was rich broke. I was making good money, but I was living paycheck to paycheck, and I was broke. And that's a whole nother story. But that's what got me into doing financial coaching, because I didn't want others to go through the same thing that I went through, because no one ever told me. So one of the things I understand now is, and it's good to put some money in the bank, because you need to have some money readily available, right? But that money is retired because it's not working. Money is a willing employee. It's a willing worker. So you must always find gainful employment for your money, right?
So, wow, since you said that, I got to stop, because once you got introduced to the foreign exchange market, once you started hanging around myself and other pastors, and you saw what we were doing, you saw how we were causing our money to work for us. What did it do for you, and how did it shift your whole paradigm?
Well, the first thing it did was like, how you do that? When you start looking at people making big money, you start saying how you do it. But again, that was one of the problems that I had, and you talked about it in the 10 Commandments, delayed gratification. So I wanted to make what you guys were making off the bat. And so then when I'm not having success, I'm like, man, this thing ain't working. I'm mad. That's because I'm not doing this delayed gratification. I'm not going through the process of learning how to trade, setting realistic expectations. And so, but once I got that and I got the rhythm of it, and so now, I make $700 to $1,000 a day.
Not a day. How many hours?
2-3 hours.
2-3 hours. And what system are you using?
I use I use Arrow, and now I got red light, green light. So listen, and I'm waiting for market maker, baby.
So listen. Our conversation today is just to awaken you to the fact that there is a way that you can go from banking to investing. There is software that helps you through this process. I'm talking with the developer of what has helped this gentleman to do $7,000 to $1,000 in an hour or two. And he has discovered something, Doc, that has been amazing. That's the power of compounding.
Yeah.
What has that done for you?
Oh man, that's something that I started when I started doing financial coaching. The one thing you learn about is compounding your money. So always looking for ways to compound your money. So once I got past this, I need it and I want it now, I understood if I can just compound my money and let it build. So instead, like we said before, the bank will give you less than 1% a year. Well, you know what? What if I can make 1% a day? If I can make 1% a day, you see what I'm saying? Then my account will build. That's 10%. I can make 20. That's 20% a month.
Well, stop right there. Nate, I got to come to you. He said the bank will give you less than
1%.
1%. We're talking about banking versus investing. You are about to release a software. Is it possible that that software can generate 1% a day? Let's talk about that.
Yes. I talked about earlier how the automated version of the software that has not been released, just so everyone knows, the manual indicators that allow you to manually trade, those have been released. The automated version that does all the work for you will be released here shortly. That funded account, that proprietary fund, their number one gauge of passing the challenge is you have to gain 5%, for this proprietary fund before you receive an actual funded account or other people's money. The software passed that challenge in 2 days. So it did an average of 2.5% per day because it passed the entire challenge within 2 days. So 1% is doable. I've run tests. Pastor said he's waiting on Market Maker. I'll give you a little rundown on Market Maker's trend. Without being too technical, there is a way to test your strategy on historical data. If you get the extreme accurate historical data, it's as if you're trading that algorithm live in the past. So it's very accurate on how your software would have ran back then and how it potentially can perform now. Well, the Market Maker's trend software over the last year, utilizing that extreme accurate data, has been able to show performances up to 250% over the course of a year, which is an average of that same 1% per day Pastor was talking about, is averaging a little bit around 20+% each month over the course of the last 12 months. So 1% a day over the period of a long time frame, is doable.
Wow. Wow. So listen, those of you who are listening to the broadcast, we're talking investment versus banking. I want you to know that it is so imperative that you join us March 30th and 31st. Listen, I want you to look in the thread how you can register. It's in the thread now. Put in the thread interested. Someone from our team is going to follow back up with you. These gentlemen, Dante Lewis, Nate Williams, they're going to be in Tallahassee along with so many others for our next level wealth management. We're talking about taking your finances to the next level, taking your life to the next level. It's time for us now to stop wearing our wealth, especially if you have not accumulated enough so that you can wear it. Why do I have a bag that costs $700 and I don't have $700? Come on. That's what you said. Mm-hmm. That's important. But here it is. You're going to learn how through a simple, automated system that's going to help you generate at least, Doc, you said 1%. I heard Dante just say 1% a day can change your life forever. Mm-hmm. And you're able to manage that. You're able to maximize that by using a product that has been made available to you. Listen, this is life-changing. The pandemic has changed our life. So therefore, now we're in a place whereby your life can be changed now forever. Things just don't happen in the world that we live in. Now, what would you say to those who are listening? I mean, you've been on Wall Street, you know how manual trading is done. What would you say about what you're hearing now about the automated software?
It's a game changer. Whenever you can take thinking and decision making out of a process and make it to where a child can do it, just like he talked about Apple products, that's what Apple did. They took something complicated and made it simple. Everybody wants it. What people have to understand is putting money in the stock market. People have a fear that they're going to lose money. But what I tell people is you don't have any money anyway. You've already lost the money. When you go out to eat, you spend $100, it's gone. When you go get your hair done, you spend $200, it's gone. When you give Ming Lee $80 to do your nails and your toes, it's gone. When you give your barber $30 to cut your hair, it's gone. When you take a trip, $500, it's gone. So people said, I'm afraid of losing my money in the stock market. You've lost all your money anyway. You didn't maximize, you didn't manage, you didn't build wealth with anything that you have. So why are you afraid to lose money in the stock market when you've already lost all of your money? You don't have any money anyway. So what I would tell people is stop doing frivolous stuff with your money, because we're spending it frivolously, going out to eat, drinking, weave, nails. Men are spending it gambling, going out to get for a month. For 30 days, take all of that money that you've been wasting, put it in an envelope, and dedicate that. You're going to lose it somehow. You might as well at least try to learn something that could possibly put you in a different financial state for the rest of your life.
Wow. Yeah. Let me say this, because I want to come to Dante, then I want to come to Nate. And it seemed like our time just flew by.
Yeah.
And there's so many people asking questions. And here's the thing that I want to ask you, Doc. You said when you can take thinking and decision making out of the equation, then we definitely have someone in our midst who can really change the culture of how we see money.
Because everybody wants to let their money work for them. But with trading, when you're using trend analysis, when you're using regression analysis, you are making the decisions of when to buy and when to sell. But when you have an advanced algorithm,
you know this stuff, huh?
Just a little. But when you have an advanced algorithm that has looked at hundreds of thousands of millions of trades and trends and peaks and troughs and valleys, and that computer is now saying buy, sell, or the computer is buying and selling based on that analysis, there's no way a human brain can compete with a computer. There just isn't. I mean, there's no way that our minds can outthink those algorithms. And that's why, that being available, because this is the type of software that the firms use. Financial advisors, they don't sit and trade your money. They have systems that tell them when to buy and when to sell. So giving us access to those type of systems will allow us to put, small sums of money, even if it's $100, $500, $1,000, and then start trading with that money and growing our money over time. If it's automated, it's basically telling you when to buy and when to sell.
So listen, for those of you who are listening to us by radio, those of you who are listening to us by Facebook, you just heard Doc say something, Dr. Natalie. Pastor Sean said, oh my God, great information, by the way, Dr. Natalie. Dr. Natalie said, when you have a system that has gone through thousands of tests and understand algorithms, and that system is doing it, it takes you out of the equation. This is what I want you to do. I need at least 25 of my Facebook friends who are on this air, who've listened to this. Your money's in the bank. I want you to say to me today, I'm interested in the software. Just put that in the thread, and one of our team members is going to get back with you. I need 25 of you to declare that today. The Bible said we perish for a lack of knowledge. We ain't talking no scams. We ain't talking no gimmicks. Dr. Scott just shared with you that when we introduced him to trading, it was over 2 years ago. Something that we've been doing very quietly for a long time. I learned a skill set when I was locked up. When I was locked inside of a federal prison, I had a cellmate who was a Wall Street broker. I was locked up, but I understood, and he gave me keys to help unlock my financial future. So while you're asleep at 2 o'clock in the morning, there are thousands of us who are on the call with Nate, on the call with Dante, on the call with Han, trading in the London session. So when you see me walking the street, laughing and sleep and eating at Waffle House and doing, I've already been to work. Haven't we done?
Yes, sir.
Nate, how important is that? That gives financial freedom.
Great freedom. If you can, as Pastor said, he's making $700 to $1,000, in a couple hours. If you can do that every day, 2 to 3 times a day, a week, whatever the case may be, you have that time freedom to do so. I trade full time. My schedule revolves around trading during London session and New York session. I only trade 2 hours, and if I make my money in the first 30 minutes, I'm done. I can go to sleep. I can go about my life. If I want to take a week off and go on vacation, I can do so because I don't have to be stuck to a 9 to 5. I don't have to be stuck to a business that I have that is forcing me to be in a warehouse or at an office, whatever the case may be. This type of investing allows you that time freedom to spend with your family, your friends, your loved ones, travel, do the things you always wanted to do or you see others doing. And when you get to that next level where you're doing it at a higher level, now comes, as a young lady said there, now you don't have to delay your gratification anymore. Now because you followed the 10 commandments and you now have come into fruition where you now can start to see, the fruits of your labor. So it's everything. Time freedom is the key.
Absolutely. And listen, I was just telling Dr. Scott this. I just happened to chime in on Nate's live training call this morning. He has this big thing called Thou Wow. Thou Wow means they're getting ready to catch 1,000 pips of the US 30. For many of you who don't understand the trading terminology, it's okay. But 1,000 pips at $10 is 10,000. 1,000 at $1 is 1,000. 1,000 at 01 cent is 100. In less than 20 minutes, that happened this morning. So listen, it's going to be happening here in Tallahassee. I want you to register. I want you to get prepared for what can possibly change your life. And for those of you who are interested, who are listening to us, listen, I want you to go ahead on and put I'm in. I see Miss Miller. She's already put I'm in. I'm looking for 24 more to just go ahead on and declare I'm in. I'm in. I'm in. I'm in. This is no brainer. And at the end of the day, your whole life is about to change. This is the season that we've got to operate in health and wealth. This is the year for you to understand we're in the place of more than enough. We've been through 2 years. This is the 3rd year. This is the year that you're going to live in overflow. This is the year that you're going to live in abundance. But you got to do something. You got to get up from where you are and you got to make yourself available to hear and then act on what you hear. Dante Lewis, what would you say in the final minutes of this broadcast to those who are listening to this broadcast?
My final thoughts would be that just like the rest of the world, that everything is becoming more digital, that everything is becoming more automated. If you pay attention, the last time you've been into a grocery store now, there's probably half of them is self-checkout. It's not as many people working as a clerk as there once was. Same thing when it is in the airport, same thing it is on the train. My point is that everything is becoming more automated, and managing and learning how to become your own bank is the same exact concept. I just read something yesterday that said that since 1997, there's been no human that's beat an algorithm in chess. And this is the last 25 years, meaning that in 25 years, that no human had the ability to beat one of these AI softwares in a chess match. And if you pay attention to that and understand, your ego or your own personal will say, yeah, I can win. I can go ahead and do it. And that's the same way people feel about trading. I'm urging everybody to leverage the tools that my brother Nathan Williams has created. And these processes will eliminate the emotions, will eliminate the tough decisions from trading. And you can literally begin to compound your money today by just leveraging these simple tools, regardless of how much time it is that you have available. I personally think that's amazing. And I'm so excited to come out to Tallahassee next week and to spend some time with the family down there.
Amen. Listen, we're excited to have you. Pastor Scott, man, final words, what would you say to those who are listening to the broadcast?
Hey, listen, it's just an opportunity. So come out and learn about it and get ready to change your life.
Okay. But Dr. Natley,
Yeah.
10 Commandments, the author of Wealth Management, 10 Commandments, you're going to be leading us in a powerful seminar. What would you say to those who are listening to the broadcast today?
Financial freedom is priceless. Peace is priceless. Discipline is priceless. And it's a wonderful life. So I encourage people to open their minds and talk to God about it. And if they can come out, come out.
Wow. Listen, it's happening March the 30th and the 31st. Nate Tallahassee is asking the big question. Will that launch take place in Tallahassee?
We're pushing for it, but I cannot guarantee that. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Taking our time. I'm actually talking to my developer right after this call. My development team. I'm sorry, my development team on the call afterward. So we'll see. We'll find out when we get there.
Okay. Well, listen, it's going to be happening. It's the next level wealth management. And guess what we're going to be doing? Because we're going to do this once again on a big Zoom call. I'm going to get all of you engaged. Certainly, I want to say to all of our family, Hallelujah 95.3. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and inbox me for more information. We've already got 7 people that shouted, I'm in. I'm looking for 25, so 18 or more of you, go ahead on, let's get it in. Until next week, this has been the Greg James Community Show, informing you, inspiring you, and getting you ready for the next level. Until next week, you be